All right, so now we start with the unit 2, de compras. All right, in the unit 2, de compras, you will be learning about indirect object pronouns, the predative tense of regular verbs, and demonstrative, adjective, and pronouns. And today, in this lesson, you're going to learn about indirect object pronouns. So let's start with what is the objective for this lesson, guys? So the students will be able to understand and use indirect object pronouns correctly in the Spanish sentences. The success criteria is the students can identify indirect object pronouns in the Spanish sentences. Also, replace indirect objects with appropriate pronouns in sentences. And the last thing, the students can use indirect object pronouns to convey message in both spoken and written communication. The standard for this lesson is communications because you're going to learn about communicate with this with the indirect object pronouns and nouns. Last week you learned about the direct object nouns and pronouns, right? So you have learned that indirect object receive the action of the verb directly. So now you're going to see the contrast because now the indirect object receives the action of the verb indirectly. So let's see one example here. So here is a sentence. So Roberto le presta 100 pesos a Luisa. So here that's the subject, Roberto. The pronoun le. El verbo presta. Direct object 100 pesos. To whom? Here that's the indirect object, a Luisa. So here you can see the indirect object is a noun or pronoun that answers the question to whom or for whom an action is done. In this example, the indirect object answered the question, oh my God, ¿a quién le presta Roberto 100 pesos? To whom, right? A Luisa. That's the indirect object. So here, that's the indirect object pronouns. So in the singular form, me, that's to or for me, te, to or for you, the familiar you, le, to or for you, or to or for him or her. So here now is the plural form, nos, to or for us, to or for you, familiar, les, to for you, or to for them. So the forms of the indirect object pronouns for the first and the second person, me, te, nos, or os, are the same as the direct object pronouns. Indirect object pronouns agree in number with the corresponding nouns, but not in gender. So here that's a huge difference. Okay, guys, remember this. So agree with the number, but not with the gender. So something you have to know and you have to keep in mind, guys, when you use the indirect object nouns and pronouns is the indirect object pronouns are also used without the indirect object nouns when the person for whom the action is being done is known. Okay, when you know to whom, you don't need to mention that person. Okay, so let's see the example. Ana le presta la falda a Elena. So here that's the indirect object. So a Elena, right? So let's see the second sentence. También le presta unos jeans. So if you notice, in the second part of the sentence, you don't need to mention Elena because you know you're talking about her. So that's why you don't need to use the noun in this sentence, in the second sentence. También le presta unos jeans. So here we have some irregular verbs. We have two. El verbo dar, to give, and el verbo decir, to say or to tell. So the regular verbs dar, to give, and decir, to say or to tell, are often used with indirect object pronouns. So here, the verb dar and decir, yo doy, tú das, él, ella da, nosotros damos, vosotros dais, ustedes, ellos, ellas dan. En decir, yo digo, tú dices, él dice, nosotros decimos, vosotras decís, and ellas dicen. So remember, guys, irregular verbs doesn't follow the rules. So that's why that's very important. You memorize those, okay? So the only way to do that is to practice the verb to give and to say, dar and decir. All right, so here, watch the videos. Okay, so here is another video about the indirect object pronouns, and it's very helpful for you guys. Please watch the video. Again, the way to have access to that video is through the PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint is in Canvas below this presentation, and there you can open the link, and when you open the PowerPoint you can have access to that video. Please watch it. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Any question, please let me know.